gals, non-binary pals, and the technicolor rainbow in between. This is Modular Media Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Chris Boingo Rider Gaston, and with me is my tag team partner,
The Vacuuminator, here for you. Another excellent week of all-star AEW content, NXT existing, and hey, Bray Wyatt is still a thing, isn't he?
Yeah. All right, so what do you want to go with? NXT and get it done, and then go on AEW and freak out about stuff, or other way around?
Let's actually be a little unorthodox, and let's start off with some WWE shit.
Oh shit. Shit.
Right after I take a drink of water. Hang on.
Oh, how dare you? How dare you immediately interrupt the podcast as we're starting it? How dare you while I take a sip of tea?
Hey, I'm just learning from my idol, Cody Rhodes, and I'm staying hydrated.
It sounded like you said Cody Bodes.
Hey, I'm even copying his lisp. Sorry.
Go.
So on SmackDown this week, everything was terrible except for the Bray Wyatt storyline, as is to be expected, because I kind of glossed over it when we were talking about SmackDown last week, but Bray Wyatt's basically the only good thing about that show. Everything he touches is good. Everything else is just kind of like... I
mean, Daniel Bryan's been good, but that's mostly because he's feuding with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. So as we talked about at the end of the last SmackDown, I forgot his fucking name for a second. Daniel Bryan was attacked by Bray Wyatt, or he was attacked by The Fiend, because we make that distinction very clear in this episode. And he had his hair shaved. And the story here is Miz comes out, and he's supposed to have a Miz TV segment with Daniel. But he goes, nobody has seen Daniel since the last SmackDown. Nobody knows where he is. WWE won't look into it. They're not having the police look into it. So I'm taking it upon myself to look into it. Even though I literally just said, I don't care about Daniel Bryan. I don't like him. We'll never get along.
Baka!
Yeah. So he's like... he's getting ready to go backstage, and then Firefly Funhouse plays, and Bray Wyatt goes, "Hi, Miz, how about I be your guest on Miz TV this week?" And they have a little back and forth, and it very quickly becomes apparent that now Bray is going after Miz because he's getting all up in Bray's business. And he says, I used to have a family. Very quick flash of a clip of Daniel Bryan and the Wyatt family. But I don't anymore. I just have the fun house. I'd like to get a new family. Why don't I take yours, Miz? And Miz very quickly gets on the phone with Maurice, is like, lock down the fucking house, get the kids somewhere safe. I'm gonna come home as quick as I can. And he starts making his way to the back. Later in the night, we see as he's coming towards the loading dock area, he sees a room with an ominous red light, and he goes, oh shit, the Fiend might be in there. I should try and get the jump on the Fiend. And he walks in, and the same picture Bray Wyatt showed to represent Miz's family is there, but the Fiend has been photoshopped over Miz. And it's very creepy and very like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? And then Daniel Bryan, God damn it, why do I keep doing that? Bray Wyatt, not the Fiend, but Bray Wyatt, Mr. Rogers, Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt, comes out of nowhere and does the Sister Abigail on Miz, knocks him out, and we cut back, we go to commercial, and then we come back, and Miz is being woken up by a ref, and he's like, where'd he go? And the ref's like, where'd who go? I found you alone. And so Miz continues on his way to go home and check on his family. And then a little later in the show, we get a graphic that says, Daniel Bryan, or I'm gonna fucking shoot myself, I did it again. Bray Wyatt, not the Fiend, but Bray Wyatt versus The Miz at TLC. We're going to see Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt in action.
I feels like they're trying to position the Fiend very much like Finn Balor's the Demon.
That, and someone pointed out every feud that the Fiend has wrestled the matches for so far, aka every match Bray has had since he's come back, has been Bray getting revenge on somebody who he sees as having wronged him in the past. Now, Bray's never really had much interaction with Miz in the past. Like, they've been around each other, but they've never really had a feud before. So there's no reason for the Fiend to get involved. He's not getting revenge on something that happened in the past. This is a job for the new Bray Wyatt. So it's Mr. Rogers Bray that's going to deal with this. Which, on the one hand, it's very interesting. It makes me kind of intrigued to see the TLC match. I'll probably watch it on its own, because fuck watching an entire WWE pay-per-view.
That doesn't have the word takeover in it.
Yeah. Just to get it out of the way, because I know there might be some people expecting it, considering we actually got some people showing up last year. I'm not down for a Royal Rumble live stream this year. I don't feel the spirit. But I do want to watch this Bray versus Miz match just to see how Mr. Rogers Bray works in the ring. Part of me really hopes that they do the idea Wrestle Talk came up with, which the entire match is just Bray going, "Why are we here? I don't want to fight, Miz. Let's talk this out. Let's be buddies." And Miz is going like, "No, fuck you. Stay the fuck away from me." And then eventually Miz just gets so worked up that he lets himself get pinned. I think that might be.
Yeah.
But that's all there is to say for that. We'll find out what happens with it before this fucking podcast comes out.
Yep. But continuing on WWE, we finally have some releases.
Yeah, they let our people go.
Yep. Basically, Luke Harper has been released. Sin Cara has been released, and The Ascension have been released.
Bunch of people who were either getting screwed over, publicly asking for their release, or privately asking for their release.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch more people who are rumored to have asked for their releases. But these are like some of the big people, and also somebody who we literally heard nothing from in like a year.
Yeah, and that's Luke Harper, who also recently...
No, The Ascension.
The Ascension.
We've not heard anything about them, and they've not wrestled a match since a main event match that happened almost a year ago.
Yeah, I can definitely, here's the thing. Luke Harper, now Brody Lee, because he trademarked his original indie name, and The Ascension, I can definitely see doing some cool shit in, AEW. Sin Cara, I think, honestly, he'd probably have more fun and have a better success rate in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Or I could see him retiring.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's probably got some change. Maybe do a couple dates here and there. But, Brody Lee, I can definitely see him just wanting to get to wrestle again because he loves doing it.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know, a long time ago, it's been rumored. I say rumored in air quotes because basically everybody believes this to be truth, but no, WWE has never confirmed it. Luke Harper was brought into the company, and Vince McMahon wanted to book him as a Southern character, and because he couldn't do a Southern accent, Vince McMahon gave up on him on the spot.
And yeah, that's just dumb. But he's a bigger dude, and he could do some big dude shit in AEW.
Yeah, he's Bruiser Brody, and he's gonna go do things, and it's gonna be cool, hopefully. Probably.
Especially because he recently took a photo and posted it on Instagram, either him or Marty did, with Marty Scurll, who is also heavily rumored to be heading to AEW.
Yeah, Marty, that's been a thing. Marty's been taking photos with a couple people and just captioning them "Villain Enterprises?" ?
Including Darby Allin.
Yeah!
Boy, if he comes and makes Villain Enterprises with Darby Allin and Brodus Lee, fuck, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice that they let our people go, or at least some of our people go.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens with them. Low-key, I dug the Ascension. I like their look. I like the guys themselves. It'd be cool to see what they can do untethered.
And I'm just happy to get to see them do anything, because I came into wrestling like just around the time WWE gave up on them. So I've only seen them wrestle 2 matches.
Oh, man. But, continuing on this whole thing, let's go into NXT, and we have a new Cruiserweight champion.
Yeah, the show opened up this week with Angel Garza versus Leo Rush. Took me a minute to remember his name because it's late and I'm tired. I haven't been drinking. I've been drinking an energy drink, but gears aren't turning as well.
Yeah, and you gotta wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
It certainly is. But another thing is that this was an incredible fucking match.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've been talking about the last couple weeks. Yeah, NXT has been having all-around solid matches, but it's not been holding my attention. This got my attention right the fuck away, because it was a Cruiserweight Championship match. And for those of you who haven't been keeping up with the Cruiserweight belt, every Cruiserweight Champion match has been really fast, really complicated, and really impressive. And this was just more of that, and it was great. It was wonderful. It really got the Angel Garza character over. And honestly, I hope this feud isn't over. I hope we get to see these guys have another couple matches. I don't want Leo to get the belt back, but I want to see this go on a bit longer.
I can definitely see that. Like, it was a really fucking good match, and it was a good kind of feel-good moment for Angel.
Mm-hmm.
It puts a nice little spotlight on him, and I just hope the Cruiserweight just gets a lot of love and attention in NXT. And I know Leo has been doing some great shit. In fact, he had a really cool thing when NXT did the whole invasion of the main roster, when it was the whole group. He was front and center on the Jeep.
Yeah. And also, like, really cool thing. During the commercial break, Angel Garza, the guy who's playing a character that is basically a giant man whore, got his girlfriend in the ring and proposed, and she said yes, and it was wonderful and wholesome.
Yep. Really good. Just good fucking solid match. Great opening to the show. And next, we have a little bit of revenge. Dakota Kai versus Mia Yim, after Dakota Kai busted her up something at War Games. Mia Yim.
War Games!
War Games! The Butcher!
The Blade!
The Butcher!
The Blade!
The Blade!
And the Buddy!
But Dakota Kai beat her up to get into the War Game spot, and then turned on everybody. And so Mia Yim's going like, yeah, I know, fuck that bitch.
So they have a big old match. Dakota Kai does win, but immediately afterwards, Mia Yim starts getting her knocks in. They go into the technical area and then do a big old spot off the kind of balcony they got there into a couple tables. And I can't get it confirmed or denied, but it looked like they gave Dakota Kai a concussion on one of those tables. Holy shit, that was a botch.
Oof. Big oofs. But it was a fun match. There was a cool spot with Welsh fucking person who's friends with Dakota.
Tegan Knox.
There's a fun spot with Tegan Knox's knee break.
Yeah.
That was cute. And they also tried to do take off the turnbuckle. Also dig the sheer top that Dakota Kai is wearing along with her sports bra thingamajig.
I think they're supposed to be Calvin Klein's, if Calvin Klein's made workout wear.
Well, Pink also does that, I think, too.
Yeah. But they say Team Kick, even though Team Kick is disbanded now.
Yeah, no, she's Team Kick. It's a one-man Team Kick.
One-woman Team Kick, sir. It's current year.
And English manners tend to be the gender-neutral thing. I know it's fucked up, but that's how language works.
But yeah, it was a good little bit. Then Cameron Grimes had a match against a guy who I always blank on, because he's new and he hasn't done much yet. But he got his entrance interrupted by Cameron Grimes a couple weeks ago, and so they have themselves a little grudge match over that. Cameron Grimes doesn't get the window because Kushida, who he's been kind of targeting and making fun of, comes out for a distraction, grabs Cameron Grimes' hat and runs off with it. And Cameron Grimes just doesn't try to chase after him or stop him anything, but he makes this hilarious, like, "Oh no, my hat" face. And then he gets rolled up.
My hat! I have weed in there.
Yep. And then he gets rolled up and loses, and that's probably going to lead into a nice little mid-card Kushida-Cameron Grimes feud. So, yay, I'm excited about that. Also, I want to apologize because I forgot to include in the card a few weeks ago Kushida's I'm Back video package because I had missed it somehow. And it was wonderful. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Is he back in time? I'm back in time.
It's basically him saying, well, I was healing up. I was at home with my family. Here's my daughter. I love my daughter. I fight for my daughter now. Look at my daughter. She's adorable. My daughter. And it's like, yeah, she is adorable. You're a real white meat babyface, aren't you? I love you, Kushida.
I love that you love Back to the Future.
Indeed.
Speaking of the future is the past, and Finn Balor goes up against Keith Lee and Tommaso Ciampa, I had to think for a second, for the number one contendership to the NXT title. And boy, did Keith Lee throw people.
He did throw people. You threw a lot of people. You threw people a lot, and there was much throwing of people.
And we basked in that.
Yeah. So, I'm going to be honest. I thought this match was pretty good. However, I'm kind of annoyed with the outcome because it feels like Vince booking.
Why?
It feels like this is the older, recognizable name brand guy. This is the guy who's going to pull in the ratings, so he has to be the one to get the big match. Whereas all these other guys who are super hot with this crowd and have a storyline, a legitimate grudge with Adam Cole, and not just, I want my title back because I'm back in NXT, they're not getting put over. Finn Balor is getting put over. And I'm not saying Finn Balor's bad. I'm not saying I don't like Finn Balor. He's good. It's a good idea to have him in a match against Adam Cole. I'm just questioning doing it now.
I think now is the better time to do it. A, because you can build Keith Lee up some more, and Tommaso Ciampa can have some cool story bits of going like, fuck you, I want Goldie back, that kind of thing. And Finn Balor is basically going like, no, I'm better now. I'm back to form. I'm just gonna kick all the ass, regardless. I don't give a fuck. And and plus, if you can look at it not just as this is going to the end of a story, as this is the beginning of a story of like, oh shit, what if Finn Balor wins? And now he has Keith Lee, Tommaso Ciampa, and Adam Cole gunning for him. Or if Adam Cole wins, hey, Finn Balor can just become more aggressive, more badass, more rock and rolla, while Keith Lee and Tommaso Ciampa go for the belt.
Yeah. And that's definitely what they're going to do because I don't see Triple H not letting the prophecy come true.
Yeah.
Undisputed Era will end this year with all of the belts. And they'll probably lose them all fairly quickly once we get into 2020.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a bad choice. I think it's a choice very much like AEW. We just got to wait and let it happen, see what happens. Because NXT hasn't disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. This week's show wasn't bad. It's just, there's only a few things that really caught my attention that I wanted to talk about. And that's kind of been NXT since it went to USA. Whereas AEW this week, spoilers, just about everything on the card, I was like, oh, that was great. I have things to say about this.
Yep. And real quick, Meltzer, because we're just going to become every other wrestling podcast made by a couple knuckleheads, reported that NXT is going to be in WrestleMania, which is going to be fun.
Yeah, there's no word yet on who it's going to be, what the match is going to be, or anything like that. It's just Vince has put down a decree from on high that there will be NXT matches at WrestleMania this year. Which, yay! Even more matches at WrestleMania. That's what that show needs. more matches.
Yeah. But it's cool that Vince is going like, I don't want a match. I don't want like this match that I want. There's a space for an NXT match. Get to it however you want.
Mm-hmm.
If it's that way. If it's not, well, fuck me.
Here's the thing. I hope he's just saying, Hunter, I want you to put NXT people on the big show so that we can get NXT even more over and crush AEW, and giving him carte blanche. However, the cynical part of me says he's told Hunter there will be no NXT championship match at TakeOver WrestleMania this year. That's going to happen actually at WrestleMania.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it for NXT and WWE this week. So why don't we follow in to AEW, where Being the Elite dropped some fucking hints.
Yeah, there's a new subplot.
Jobbers are getting tired, and they're wanting to get some wins. And you know what? Having a group of people who have a couple wins going like, hey, join us, we'll help you out, seems a little enticing.
Mm-hmm. And they've been portraying it fairly realistically. Like this is just continuing on with the vignettes they've been doing for the last couple weeks for the Dark Order, where they're coming to jobbers and saying like, hey, tired of losing all the time? Start winning. Join the Dark Order. And the first person we're seeing go through this is Michael Nakazawa.
Did they show more of that? Because it was both Brandon Cutler and Nakazawa kind of reaching for the flyer.
I don't remember Brandon Cutler reaching.
No, Brandon Cutler reached for it first.
Okay. I must have missed that. But the story I caught on through this episode of Being the Elite was we get a segment where Kenny and Michael Nakazawa are in the gym working out, and Michael Nakazawa looks over and he sees Hikaru Shida working out, and he's like, wow, Kenny, Hikaru Shida is so great in the ring. She's been doing so good. She's the number one contender for the women's title right now. What do you think I need to do to be more like her? And Kenny's like, well, first of all, she's a Joshi. That's a very different type of wrestler from what you are. But if you want to be as strong as her, you could start lifting heavier. I guess that'd work. So he's like, okay. He goes over, he grabs some heavier weights than he's used to working with. And then Hikaru comes over and she grabs weights that are like twice the size of that. And he's like, oh, which I kind of marked out at because, yay, we're putting over Hikaru Shida as a big, strong girl. But the point of that is that later in the episode, when all the Elite Boys, all the Being the Elite Boys are walking into the venue for Dynamite that week, they see a poster for Join Dark Order. And Kenny and the Bucks are kind of like, Dark Order? How stupid. Who's actually falling for that? And Michael Nakazawa is like, yeah, stupid. And he hangs back. And he looks at the poster. And he reaches for one of the little tearaways.
He reaches, but he doesn't take it.
And, man, do I like that. Because that feels so true to life. Because how many times in the group of friends is there that one friend who's not doing as well as everybody else, and he's trying really hard. He's trying to figure out how he can be better, but he just can't figure it out. So he falls in with another bad crowd.
Yep. And then later on, we don't see who it is, but we do see a hand take a slip from the Dark Order.
Yeah, and I thought it was Michael Nakazawa, but apparently you're saying it was Brandon Cutler?
No, okay, here's the thing. In that scene where they're making fun of the Dark Order, you see Brandon Cutler look at the flyer for a good hot second. And then the Bucks go like, hey, man, what are you doing? He goes, nothing. And man, the Dark Order. And then they do all that bit. And then Michael Nakazawa looks at it for a good hot second. And then after a cut, we don't see who it is that grabs it. We just see a hand grab one of the slips. And some people are theorizing, what if it's Hangman?
That's interesting. Because
here's the thing. He hasn't been a jobber, but he has been losing, and he doesn't like it.
Yeah, and he had this isn't on the card, so we'll just touch on this real quick. He had a tag match with Kenny this week where Kenny did all the work, and then he tagged himself in and stole the win from Kenny.
Yep. And like they're continuing this. Here's the thing. Jobbers are getting genuine stories. They aren't just there to be losing fodder
Mm-hmm.
in AEW. Because later on, the tag team jobbers that we've had, John Silver.
This was on Dynamite.
Yeah, on Dynamite. We'll just talk about it now because we're talking about Dark Order. But John Silver and the other guy, the Beaver Brothers.
Yeah.
The Beaver Boys, whatever it is, it's Beaver something, is in his hotel room. And then you see a little clip that generic hotel, like, here's our amenities. But it's the dude from Dark Order and goes, hey, aren't you tired of losing? And basically gaslighting, making him think he's going insane and making him want to join the Dark Order. And like, oh my God, everybody's getting a storyline.
Mm-hmm. And also, just like on Twitter, the Dark Order have been encouraging people to post their own videos of like internet characters and stuff being enticed to join the Dark Order. And people are playing along with it. Jim of the fucking Jimquisition did a video that involved the Dark Order.
Yep. And it helps that he's also in wrestling. He wrestles.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, and it also had a cameo from Evil Uno. And, like, it's fantastic. It's great. Like, imagine going back 3 months and telling everybody on the internet going, like, hey, by the way, the Dark Order is going to be one of the most over and interesting things in AEW.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But damn, it's good. And I'm happy for it. But next, we have a little squash match. Jon Moxley. He comes.
As I said to my dad after this ended, nothing like a bowl of squash to start the night off.
Jon Moxley comes out, squash. He wins in like nothing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I didn't realize this until I watched this week's episode of Wednesday Warfare, but Brian Zane pointed out he shattered his own record for shortest match in AEW.
Yeah, I love that. And they were putting that over as like, yeah, that's impressive. And that's like that's a cool thing to keep reminding people of, like, he has the fastest win in AEW. It's a neat little thing that shows how strong he is. Then we have a little, not run-in, but...
After his match, the music plays.
Yep.
And the Inner Circle come out, and they surround the ring, and Jericho, very slowly, very gingerly, gets in the ring.
Like he's dealing with a wild animal.
Yeah, fucking JR even said on commentary, he approached him and he treated him like a big grizzly bear. And Jericho's basically like, I'm not here to fight. They're not going to run in and beat you up. They're just here for security purposes. I just want to talk. And he goes on to talk about, like, we know each other. You've been on my podcast. We work together in WWE. Did we work together in the other place?
We've had some spats there, but like we got along. You asked me for advice.
And I'm gonna give you some advice now. Batista, you don't want to take a shot at the title. Why you gotta take a shot at the title, buddy? Batista, you being so crazy.
Jericho basically invites Jon Moxley to join the Dark Order, and Jon Moxley's just kind of, I don't want to say he's flabbergasted or he's like considering it. It's just like, this motherfucker's genuinely doing this. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah. He just stands there while Jericho puts an Inner Circle shirt on his shoulders and says, you don't have to tell me now. You can have the holidays to think about it. Tell me in Jacksonville.
And here's what I want to see happen in Jacksonville. Jericho's coming Jericho's out for a promo, and then you hear Moxley, and he's coming in. He's wearing a hoodie, and he walks down to the ring, and Jericho goes like, so, are you joining? And he starts to undo his shirt, and you see the top of the Inner Circle logo, and you go like, oh shit. And then he undoes the rest of the hoodie, and he spray painted Mox on it.
Yeah!
And he just fucking goes ham on the Inner Circle.
That'd be great. But that happened, and then we got, I mean, it's no surprise, but my favorite bit of the night.
Yeah.
The freebies, as I call them, the Butcher, the Blade, the Buddy!
The Butcher!
They come out for their debut match against...
They fucking look great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed their entrance.
I already love them.
They came out, got in the ring, and then Cody and QT Marshall came out, and Can we just take a moment to appreciate that when the lights went out for Cody's entrance, everybody lost their shit and started screaming like Michael Jackson was on stage?
Fucking Cody is goddamn over like Shody.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, that rubbed off on QT Marshall.
Yeah, because he came out, they did a fun kind of combo entrance, tossing the apple back and forth. And then
he tossed the apple, Cody took a bite and tossed it back in us.
Mm-hmm. And then they had the match, and probably one of the best tag team matches I've ever seen. Like, they tore the roof off this fucking place. And I'm not just saying that because I love Cody. No, QT Marshall did some amazing shit in this match, and the Butcher and the Blade looked like $1 million.
Everybody got over. Everybody looked amazing. It was just great. And here's the thing. QT Marshall sold the... here's how I kind of see it happening. QT Marshall by himself, kind of a jobber. He's a little long in the tooth. He understands that and he knows it. But he likes to wrestle anyway and wants to try his hardest. But when he's with Cody, there's a confidence there that he has to try hard because he's with Cody. He wants to try hard. He wants to try his best. Yeah. You know? And so he does. And everybody fucking got onto it. And that goddamn cartwheel tope dive thingamajig, it looked sloppy. But here's the thing. It worked so much for the composition of the match and his character. It was just fantastic. And oh boy. QT Marshall. I love him now.
Yeah, he's great. And this match, in the words of a man who needs to be put in a home, it's such good shit.
But also, like, the Butcher and the Blade looked fantastic, especially the Butcher, because I started listening to his band's music and I was like, yeah, and it just made me more of a fan of him.
Butcher's the big guy with the monocle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's so good.
He's just like, he looks like a cross between a modern wrestler with the tats and the that kind of thing, but an old school, like, 60s wrestler with the body build.
Mm-hmm. And also, I loved how they got Allie involved in some spots, but it never felt like the kind of outside corner man interference that WWE does of it's always a giant stupid distraction that ends up costing somebody the match. It was just like little bits here and there where somebody was close to her or they did something to her and she just fired back.
Yep. It was great. She looked great.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the match looked great, and I just love how these two guys are just like the epitome of male pattern baldness.
And they picked up the win. They did actually beat Cody, and QT Marshall disappeared, and Cody was left sitting there all alone going, oh shit, what am I going to do now?
And the Butcher and Blade were about to go like, you know what, let's beat this guy up some more.
And then your boy Darby Allin comes out, walks right past them.
Looking like a fucking $1 million.
Yeah, he just walks right past them. Like, I think he actually shoulder checks Blade. And then he goes up to Cody and is just like, you got a friend in me.
Damn, I just love how everybody's interconnected. And it's so good. And I, like, real quick, can we just talk about Darby Allin's look? Because it's just fucking perfect tonight.
He is a very sharp dresser.
Blazer with painted words on one half and like a sheer men's button-up shirt. And it was like, damn,
he's like a classy Jeff Hardy.
Classy Jeff Hardy. At least we don't have to worry about him driving drunk.
Yeah. He might skateboard drunk, but hey.
No. Darby straight edge.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah. Darby straight edge. So we never have to worry about him getting into fucking weird shit.
Yeah. But him and Cody walked to the back together, and then Darby Allin immediately tweeted that basically he has a lot of respect for Cody because they went to time limit. However, he feels like that's unfinished business. So he is offering his help to Cody in this under the condition that they have a rematch.
And that's fucking great. I love that.
And I love that he just said, I want a rematch. He didn't say, I want a rematch, and if I beat you, I will help you. It's just, let's finish this. Let's do it proper.
But in the meantime, I don't want you to get fucked over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's great. It's perfect. It's so good. Ah, man. But over the past week, we've had a couple signings of AEW. We have
you're skipping something.
Oh, MJF comes on.
Yeah, he came out, he cut a fucking banger MJF promo, and he basically said, now that the Butcher and the Blade have proven that you can be beaten, I'm okay with having a match with you. So we're going to have a match. I'm not going to say when, and I'm not going to say what kind of match it is, because I have conditions. I have stipulations. However, I don't want to say to him in front of all these dumb hicks. I'll tell you in Jacksonville, because Jacksonville is the 2020 season premiere of AEW.
And, like, I'm fine with that. That makes sense. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It sets up stuff. And it makes you want to see the CV.
And, hey, Chris?
Yeah?
Go to Jacksonville.
I don't have the money. And I don't have a car.
Fuck.
It's kind of hard to do things like that when you don't have either of them.
Fair enough.
But also, just some fucking great-ass singers from MJF talking about his lisp.
Mm-hmm.
And, you call me fake rich? Fake rich? Like your fake blonde hair? It's like, I love how they're giving the men the catty shit.
Mm-hmm. And just, like, I can get upset at heels sometimes, but I've never full on had I legitimately hate this guy because I'm supposed to hate him. When MJF started going off on the lisp, I felt that nuclear heat that the crowd had for him. I was
just
like,
oh, fuck you. Come on, man.
You do not go there. That's like, that is like tugging on Superman's cape. You don't bring that shit up.
Man, it's a lasting footprint of Dusty, man. But now onto the thing that I was about to say before I forgot shit. We had a couple signings for AEW, specifically in the women's division. We have our favorite alien, Chris Statlander.
Yay.
She's great. She looks amazing. I can't wait to see more of her. And also Big Swole.
Yeah, I am very excited for Big Swole. I loved her dark match, and she looked like $1 million on this episode of Dynamite, debuting against Emi Sakura.
Also love her little interview she had at Dark.
Yeah,
I love how they're continuing them, but not necessarily doing the whole Cody thingamajig gimmick that they were doing.
Yeah, and
undesirable, undeniable.
Mm-hmm. But there was like this whole thing of her talking about like, yeah, I had a disease and I basically died at one point. I was told I could never wrestle again, but here I am wrestling again, and I was told I may never be able to have kids. Guess what? I had a kid recently, and it's like, yeah, Big Swole's awesome. Big Swole looks like a big mean lady, but she's actually one of the most likable baby faces in the women's division. That's really cool.
But you can also see her playing a big bad lady.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it fits. And Chris Statlander's great. The women's division is shaping up so well that there's so many stories going on right now because you have a lot of people trying to prove themselves. You have number one contenders, Riho. You have the Nightmare Collective doing things.
Mm-hmm.
You have Nia versus Shayna. Portuguese lady.
Yeah. Portuguese/French lady.
She's European.
Yep.
But her match with Emi Sakura was fucking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
There was some great little moments with the fucking mic stand.
Yeah, that was. Oh, I love how they've gone from just completely ignoring the mic stand aside from her entrance to actually making it like one of the most important props in AEW. That's really fun.
And I've also seen some things like I've seen some complaints about Emi Sakura, how the fact that she tries to play a face with her gimmick, but she wrestles like a heel.
Motherfucker, have you seen wrestling? Motherfucker, have you seen any media ever? Evil people see themselves as the good guy, and 9 times out of 10, they like to ham it up.
Yeah. But, you know, I just wanted to say I've been seeing that someplace. I disagree with them. I think she's great, but I just wanted to mention it.
Yeah.
Good match. But next, we have a little tag teamy action with Kenny Omega and Adam Page. what the fuck is wrong with me? Versus Sean Spears and Kip Sabian for a little scouting bit, a little bit of scouting for
Tony's looking to build a stable.
Yeah, and he's looking at Kip Sabian and going like, you know what? You got some juice, kid.
You got some of that chutzpah.
Chutzpah.
I like how you stole that one guy who I don't like's girlfriend, and you've been walking around with her.
Why the fuck is Tully from goddamn New York?
I don't know. That's just a thing I go to sometimes.
But fun little match, bunch of cool spots. Kip Sabian had a lot of great stuff, and they fucking drew out the Snapdragon suplex from Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
So many great like counters out of the hold in it, and then they finally get it, and it's just like bang! Great. I love Snapdragon.
It is a good move.
But during the match, the lights go out, and when they come on, you see Tully Blanchard strapped to a chair with a gag.
And he's wearing the fucking Janela. Are they sunglasses or goggles?
I think they're sunglasses, but they have the visor shape of a goggle.
But he's all tied up, and Joey Janela is going like, "Ha ha! I got him! I got that old asshole!" And Sean's like, "Oh fuck! I gotta go help my father figure." So he runs off, and somehow the match isn't DQ'd. But
he wasn't the legal man.
Oh. But Kip Sabian gets in there. He does his thing. However, his thing does not work out that well. And as we mentioned earlier, Kenny does all the work on him, beats the crap out of him. And at the last second, Adam tags himself in and picks up the win.
And Kenny's going like, okay, sure, whatever. We win, whatever.
Yeah. And I
love JR just going on about that. It's like, the winner's purse is the winner's purse.
Mm-hmm. Because most of the Hangman leaving the Elite stuff has been happening on Being the Elite. So they have to translate that story to Dynamite. And that's part of commentary's job, is making sure everybody's up to speed. And, good job on them for doing it in that.
Yeah. But it's great. It's good to see that the Janela storyline with Sean Spears isn't just over. They're going to do more with it.
And also, it's interesting to see where this whole Hangman Kenny thing is going to go, because this isn't just like, oh, Kenny gets burned and now they're not wrestling together anymore. No, next week they have a match with the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, it feels interesting, and they're actually building the shit. It's great. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But next we have a little promo package from Brandy Rhodes.
Yeah, she shows up. She talks about how, everybody's still saying they don't understand what the Nightmare Collective is and how it works, or they're questioning it. And you know what? Guilty is charged. But I really like this promo, because Brandy actually did some shit. She didn't just go we're this thing. We're doing a thing. Here's a person. She actually talked about some of her intentions, and she said, hey, Chris Statlander, there's still a spot for you. Hey, Riho, where the fuck are you? You haven't been on Dynamite in 4 weeks, which I had seen some internet people saying that, and I hadn't commented on it yet, but I was starting to feel it. So it felt weirdly validating to see the biggest heel in the women's division say, where the hell is our champion?
Yeah. You know what I'm starting to feel like this is? A self-appointed authority.
Ooh.
You know how the authority of WWE is no, we're the management and we're just telling you what to do. Fuck you. That's why they're a heel. Here, there's a little bit of a delusion of no. We're telling and making sure everything works right. But what gives you the right to do that?
Yeah.
You're just marketing. What makes you think you can do that? Because you're Cody's wife? What, you have no right to control this division the way you think you are.
Yeah, that could work.
But also, we got a hint at another member of the Nightmare Collective.
Yeah, apparently they got a dude in there. Either that or a very masculine-looking woman. I couldn't tell because they were not facing the camera, and Brandy started to turn their face, and then went, no, later.
Yep. It's I hate to put it this way, because it's probably a better way to describe it. It feels very Mama Dearest. Listen to your mama. Come on. You can be better than that. She has that kind of tone.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. It looks really cool. And Chuck Taylor basically did point out there's a lot of spoopy people in AEW.
It's a spoopy place right now.
And I honestly, though, I think the only real spoopy ones are Dark Order, because any other spoopy ones are kind of like spoopy with an asterisk, because Nightmare Collective is kind of gothy.
Mm-hmm.
And Butcher, Blade, and the Bunny are much more like biker punk rock.
Yeah.
With like a little bit of crusty punk, because that one dude's mask. It's great. I'm digging it.
By the way, if you want ultimate proof that the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny are really big heels, dude fucking skipped out on band practice to be at his match. What the hell?
Oh, fuck him. Did they tweet that or something?
His band tweeted that. They were like, hey, band people, don't you love it when somebody skips out on band practice because they have a totally legitimate appointment to go to?
Fucking fantastic. I love this. Oh, man, I can't wait for, like, a big WrestleMania-esque AEW show, and they have Every Time I Die come in and play the Butcher and the Blade out.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It'd be so great if, like, they get a different guitar player to come in and fill for them, and they just, like, cheer on their friend.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Get Fozzy to do Chris Jericho, and he comes to the ring singing.
Which brings us into our next thing, because Chris Jericho was on commentary for Sammy Guevara versus Luchasaurus.
Hey. Chris Jericho and the big hurt Jake Hagar. How can you forget him? How can you forget so many of his insightful comments?
I'm sorry. I apologize. It was very rude. But on commentary, and this is important because you told me for the longest time Jericho has been acting like himself and the lead singer of Fozzy are separate people. JR took a jab at him about writing song lyrics, and Jericho said that in AEW continuity, him and the lead singer of Fozzy are the same person.
Yeah, no, like when I said that he did that in WCW way back in the day.
Yeah,
which is just kind of it's fun.
Mm-hmm. It's good to know. It's a good little thing to put in the AEW secret files and origins.
Yeah, like, and this was a fun match. It was really cool. See Luchasaurus just throw someone tiny around.
Yeah. And Luchasaurus got the win. Jericho and Hagar ran down immediately and started trying to beat up Luchasaurus, but he got out of the ring. And then Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt got in there. They rolled up Jericho, did a free count, and were like, hey, look at this, we did it. And Jericho, after the break, came back up to the commentary table and was like, that didn't count!
It's so fucking great. He's so petty. It's a brilliant, and that's a much better way of like hyping up who's gonna win this match than what other places do. Whereas like they get into the ring, they beat up a little bit, and the challenger holds up the belt.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is much better because it feels like a genuine like, oh shit, maybe he can actually go for it.
Mm-hmm. And I like that they've also said like, yeah, it's not a title match. It's just a match to see if Jungle Boy could go 10 minutes with Chris Jericho. Which, that's fucking cool. That's like, yeah, this is the thing we're trying to prove. It's not just another title match for the sake of having another title match before the year is out. Yeah.
And also, he has a good match. I don't think Jungle Boy's going to win. I love Jungle Boy. Don't think he's going to win.
No, he's not at the place now where he would be capable of being the first person to take the belt off someone.
No. But I do think a really good win a really good match can bump him up in the ratings, even if he doesn't win. Because again, they also talk about like, oh, quality of match is a big thing too.
Mm-hmm. And like you've been talking about, you've been seeing people say stuff. I saw some people this week say that like, oh, why is Jungle Boy getting this match? I thought it was all about wins and losses. Jungle Boy has done nothing but lose since AEW started. This match wasn't booked by AEW management in kayfabe. Jungle Boy came out and challenged Jericho, and Jericho said okay.
Yeah, no. They need to realize wins and losses matter, but the characters also matter too.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason Jericho is eyeing Jon Moxley. It's because Jon Moxley keeps winning. There's a reason Pac keeps getting pissed off when he loses. But there's also a reason why fucking Scorpio Sky got a match, it's not because he was number one in the rankings. It was because he got a pin on Jericho, and Jericho was a little baby and was like, "Fuck you! I'll wrestle you and I'll win."
Mm-hmm.
Very similar with Jungle Boy, and that's how you get interesting matches outside of just who's been winning the most. It's almost as if like they have a plan and they can book well.
It's all a rich tapestry, people.
Yep. Just like one of Luchasaurus's medieval texts. But we also got confirmation of our next big pay-per-view.
And boys and girls, children of all ages, looks like it's a revolution.
It's a revolution. It's weird. It's techie. I dig it. It's gonna be fun. It's in Chicago. I wish they did more pay-per-views outside of Chicago, because how many have they done there so far?
Hey, it's not at the Sears Center.
Yeah, but like they could do more.
And it's also apparently going to tie into C2E2, which is the Comic Stuffing Entertainment and Electronics Expo, which is a Comic-Con-esque convention that I don't keep up with at all, but apparently a lot of people like. So it'll be interesting to see how that ties into things. I wonder if they're going to do like some Fighter Fest type stuff.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It definitely feels like AEW is much more on the pulse of pop culture in a way.
Yeah. Like we were talking about before the recording, AEW's got an official Discord server now. And just the fact that that's a thing, like even though it wasn't planned and it just sort of happened by a bunch of things coming together and then management saying, yeah, make that the official Discord. It still feels like, wow, these execs are much younger than Vince McMahon and way more in touch with the kids today.
Yeah, and for people who don't know the story is Jurassic Express. Jesus Christ. Jurassic Express had a Patreon to do like live streams and little bits and bobs and just give fans some extra content. But one of those extra things was a Discord server ran by Luchasaurus' girlfriend. They decided, hey, let's close the Patreon down, and instead of just closing the Discord server, Luchasaurus' girlfriend decided, hey, let's just make it a public AEW server, and wrestlers can come in and people can talk to them. So that was a thing, and they did that, and then a good couple hours later, they were like, hey, we may be able to make this the official AEW Discord server. We got an email from management.
Yeah. And
like, so far in here, I know Trent is on the server, and so is Flippity Flobbin, so is Luchasaurus, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting, and I don't want to toot my own horn because I don't think it was just me, but I was one of the first people to ask and mention this. I asked about like a shit posting place, and like a good couple hours later, hey, looky there, there's a shit posting channel. Huh, I wonder. I'm not saying anything, but I'm not saying nothing.
Boingo Rider to AEW confirmed.
Oh man, nah.
You don't have to do it.
Yeah, I'm in the server. Vax in the server. We probably will never see each other, but like, hey, pop in.
Yeah.
Speaking of pop, a lot of Bones did this, and the Bucks and Proud and Powerful had a Texas street fight.
Oh, what a fun match this was. Just god damn, this was good, solid, taking the props and getting as much mileage out of them as you possibly can, kind of working. And I loved it so much, and it was made all the more impactful by the fact that this is for a number one contendership for the tag titles. And hey, spoilers, the Bucks won. And next week, the Bucks are going to have their first tag, or is it at Jacksonville? I forget.
No, next week is not at Jacksonville.
Okay, so next week, the Bucks are going to have their first ever match in AEW for the tag titles.
And for the first time, it feels like we may actually get a title change. It's the Bucks. Come on. I'm not saying it should happen. I'm just saying it's the first time it feels like it could.
It's entirely possible.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I missed some parts of this match because I had to step away from the live stream. So.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, like, there's not a lot of specific spots I want to go over. Just there was some fun stuff here and there. There was a moment where one of the Bucks got a trash can over him, and like one of the not the Lucha Brother, like Santana was going at it with a baseball bat, and Ortiz was going at it with the
yeah, I saw that, man.
Stock thing. And then there's a spot where immediately after that, the other Buck comes in wearing a Dallas Cowboys hat and just like spears both of them out of the ring. And then they take the helmet from him and spit on it to get that nuclear cheap heat. And that was wonderful.
And I love Excalibur explaining it. They're Giants fans.
Yeah. And there's some great table spots in this, some fun stuff with ladders. And yeah, it's the Bucks and Proud and Powerful. Of course, it's a great match.
Yeah, but that was wrestling in this week. But anything else you want to mention?
Wednesday Night War first ever tie in viewership.
Yeah, it's interesting. This whole situation is shaping up a lot weirder than people thought it would.
Yeah, because just to recap, for like the first 3 or 4 weeks, AEW was crushing NXT in the views. Then at Survivor Series time, NXT got the advantage. Then they lost it last week, and now it's back to being a tie. And next week, both shows have a stacked card. So be interesting to see if we get a repeat of the tie, or if one crushes the other.
It's going to be weird. It's going to be interesting. But is that it for us this night?
I think it is. I'm actually starting to feel myself fade, so we might as well go.
So why don't you tell the audience where they can find your shit?
Hey, I'm the Vacuuminator. I'm a toy reviewer, and I talk about other things occasionally. You can go and find me on YouTube, youtube.com/thevacuuminator, and I also am on the social medias, Twitter @thevacuuminator, and Instagram @thevacuuminator.
Alrighty. Howdy, I'm Chris Boingo Radagast, and you can find... God damn, I went super southern there.
Yeah.
I'm Chris Boingo Radagast, and you can find my shit on YouTube. I do video editorials on a variety of subjects. You can find me on Twitter @Boingo_writer and at Instagram Boingo_writer. And of course, you can always join my Discord server. Link to that is in the description. This has been Modular Media Wrestling Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and tune in next week where we talk about... what are we going to talk about?
Wrestling.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Good night, everybody.